Good afternoon. Welcome back. It is Monday, June 5th, 2023. Excuse me. We have a few birthdays and only a couple of events. Scoured over the events pretty tightly to see what there was going on in the racing world on this date. And only two events really popped up of any significance. On this day, 1983, Ricky Rudd won at Riverside for his and his car owner, Richard Childress' first career wins. So pretty big event there. Then on this date 1 year ago today, 2022, Joey Logano wins the inaugural race at Gateway for the Cup Series. So there's a few IndyCar races, a few Busch races, a few truck races, but nothing that really played of any major significance. We do have a few birthdays. Ted Christopher was born on this date in 1958. He did pass away in 2017. And I can't remember what his, if he was in an accident or what, because I know Mike Stefanik passed away in a plane crash. But Ted Christopher just escapes me at this time. He was a very well-known driver in the Northeast. Former crew chief Carl Edwards, born on this date in 1974. Bob Osborne. You'll remember that name. Carl had some success with him in the Roush 99 car. And probably, as of right now, the youngest driver on this channel, born on this date. Well, I guess we did have mentioned Brexton Busch. But Tyler Reif, born on this date in 2007. ARCA National Series winner at Phoenix earlier this year. 15 years old, somewhere thereabouts? 16 today is Tyler Reif. So he was 15 when he won that ARCA race. So pretty big accomplishment there. We do have a few birthdays with cards. Born on this date in 1953. Former crew chief for Hendrick Motorsports, Sabco, and a few others over the years, Dygaard, Gary Nelson. And after his crew chiefing days were over, he went and traded his wrenches for some inspection gear and became a NASCAR chief inspector. And rumor has it that a lot of the teams were like, well, now 80% of the cheating is gone out of NASCAR when Gary Nelson took over as what was his title? Did the other card say what it was? Technical coordinator. So, and then there's one of those 97 Racer's Choice spokes and spoilers. And there he's director of competition. So, very, very appropriate role for Mr. Nelson during that era. Born on this date in 1952. Kind of ironic he was born in 52 because he, for many years, would pilot a car 52 in the ASA series. Mr. Butch Miller. He has 2 Busch Series wins. One came at Raceway Park. And I want to say the other one came with this 31W installation car. I want to say at Hickory in 91 or 92. In 1990, he did race the Cup Series for Travis Carter. Only had 1 top 10 there. He raced for Charlie Anderson in the Busch Series for a couple of years. And Butch is a short track king. I just don't think he was comfortable on the speedways. Didn't have a lot of success there. Even though it's a Truck Series card, he's got his ASA racing uniform on. It's pretty cool. It looks like that's probably the same uniform there because he's got the 52 Ford helmet on. He did have sponsorship from the Orleans for a little bit. And then this Ray Bestis, Liberty Racing. That's the team. He would win a race for 95. Kenny Irwin would later drive for that team and get a win for them. I believe Brad Doherty was a co-owner of that team, if I remember correctly. Our final birthday, born on this date in 1964. He has 1 Cup Series win to his credit, and I happened to be at it, and it was miserably warm that day. Mr. Bobby Hillin. 1986, he won at Talladega, and it was about 110 in the shade, so it was not a fun day that day. So from 82... In 82, he drove his own team. 83, he was in his own team. But 84 to 90, he drove for Stavola Brothers. 91, he didn't have a ride. So he drove Moroso Racing course, Moroso team owner Dick Moroso, his son Robbie, had passed away the year before in an automobile accident, at fault, of course. We've talked about that a little bit. But Hillin drove that car till the team ran out of money. Kyle Petty broke his leg. I don't want to say they ran out of money. They just didn't have the funding to keep Hillin in the car. They did get some other drivers to drive throughout the year. When Kyle Petty broke his leg at Talladega, they tabbed Hillin to sub. Now, Hillin did have 2 races that he drove Jimmy Means' 52 Alka-Seltzer car, so he was up in the points. 92, Hillin didn't have a ride. He drove for Martin Bahrain and Team Ireland for a few races. They got disqualified from a race late in the season, and Bahrain quit. Then in 93, he was signed to drive the Heilig Myers Ford. Heilig Myers was a furniture store. It's been out of business for a while with Junie Donlevy's team. He drove that till early part of 94. They split. Charles Hardy, who was a co-owner eventually with Bill Elliott's 94 team, started up a team. Hillin drove for them for about 8 races that year. Ran respectable. 95, after Davy Jones was released from the 77, Hillin took over in 95. Ran all of 96 and ran part of... Did he start 97? I can't remember if he started 97 or not. But they ran horrible. They ran horrible. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. And then after that, after he was released from the 77... he didn't make much noise in NASCAR after that. So this is the Moroso team. You can see it says Rob Moroso Memorial. Then here's the Heilig Myers car. Very nice looking car. I always thought the Heilig Myers cars looked sharp and they were easy to pick out on the track. Talked about Charles Hardy, bus fuses. This is the car that would eventually become the 94 car that Bill Elliott would drive from 95 to 2000. The U.S. Air, this is the car that Davy Jones was driving that Hillin took over mid-season 95. Then it morphed into this atrocity of a paint job. And then they didn't do it much more favors with this. So the Jasper team, of course, the Jasper team was eventually absorbed into the Penske team, becoming Penske Jasper, which was the 77 that Hornish was driving for a while. And I can't remember what happened with that team, because Penske's third team's just kind of been on again, off again. So now they got 3 solid ones, but in the early days of Penske doing 3 cars, that 77 car was just kind of a rolling wreck. But yeah, Hillin had some horrible, horrible runs in it, not through any fault of his own, just the cars were not in great shape, they were old and run down. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we will see you again in the morning. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.